enemy cruiser sunk.
Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm bringing you a replay of me playing my Baltimore, the Tier 9 American cruiser. The replay that I'm showing you right now is when I didn't have it fully upgraded. I only have the hull modification on it, and I have built it for full anti-aircraft just like my New Orleans. And contrary to my New Orleans video, this one's going to show the kind of ability for these cruisers to aid their team in terms of anti-aircraft rather than just gun damage. But we will get to use our main battery guns a lot in this battle too, because the enemy does push up. But first we're going to go defend the Taiho and Hiryu from any alpha strike from the two enemy aircraft carriers. Because when there are two on each team, you can almost expect a alpha strike from either team to try to take out one of the carriers and make it easier for themselves. And once one carrier is dead, it's pretty much a death sentence for the other one, because they just don't have the air power to defend themselves or take out another carrier on the other team. But as you can see, our Taiho's stopping right here. I think they realized my intention was to sit in front of them with my Baltimore and just be an anti-aircraft wall for them. So I'm going to stop. I'm not quite sure if that Hiryu is going to stop. It looks like he's going to keep going that way a little bit. Enemy fighters over the middle. Not a big threat for me at the moment. Not even within range of my anti-aircraft. They're just teasing our carriers' fighters and making them sit over top of the middle too. But they, either our torpedo bombers on that side or the ships on that side just spotted some bombers coming in over there. So I'm going to start up my engines again, and I'm going to get in front of the carriers and between the planes and them. So hopefully I'll get to the planes before they get to either the Hiryu or the Taiho. But I'm pretty sure they're going to hit the Taiho or not the Taiho, the Hiryu first, just because it's going to be the first thing spotted and it's an easier target. Fletcher's dropping a smoke screen. I think he's trying to cover up our carriers from the aircraft. Not quite sure if that'll work because that Hiryu is just going to drive out of it. But I'm moving up, trying to stay in between the carriers. Popped both my anti-aircraft abilities, both the fighter and the... I don't quite remember. Oh, defensive anti-aircraft fire. There we go. I'm just trying to shoot down as many planes as I can and disrupt them from their attacks on this carrier. And now we can see the torpedo bombers coming in. There's 9 planes. And as the torpedo bombers come in, I'll just start racking up kills on them. He didn't get too many torpedoes off on that carrier, and it looks like he's going to dodge them too. Looks like a last wave of bombers coming in here. There goes a couple more planes. I don't think too many of these squadrons made it back to their carriers, which is pretty good for us. It means their carriers won't reload as fast. But we're going to keep trying to shred them as they try to avoid us. Our defensive AA is down, so it kind of hinders our ability to take them down as fast. Plus they're dive bombers, so they have a lot of health and they're harder to hit. But we're going to see if we can take out more of the squadron. And he's not making it back to the carrier either. So I think like one of their squadrons made it out. Either way, we're going to stay right around the carriers, since the enemy team does seem to be pushing up in the east side. Just because we don't have a lot of ships over there. It's just a mosh pit of ships right here. Everybody's trying to defend the carriers. We got a ARP Miyoko, we have a Fletcher, and then we have both carriers and me, which is a pretty good anti-aircraft complement, if I do say so myself. But we're going to come over here and try to support our battleships. just because that means I won't get shot at as much. Because they are bigger targets than I am. Or at least I hope so. Enemy turrets. Can I hit him though? It's kind of a long shot. I don't quite know where he's going. And Samagi probably has a better shot at him. And I missed as he dodged torpedoes. It always happens to me. I don't know why, but I'm always unlucky with either launching torpedoes and somebody else spooks the ship into turning, or something spooks it out of my perfect salvo. Well, I shouldn't say perfect. I have absolutely terrible aim in my opinion. But for now, I'm just going to keep shelling the turrets. I'm going to see if I can catch him on fire, because I know his damage control is down. And I'm scoring some decent damage on him for just spamming HE at long range. No real threat from the enemy carriers yet, but it seems like they're starting to get planes up again. So it might be time to turn back and help the carriers again. Maybe one more salvo at the turrets. And I do love playing the ship. It's very maneuverable. It's got pretty good front armor. I'd say it's slightly better than the New Orleans. The only issue is you're going to see more you're going to see more Yamatos in it, and they're just going to pen you from the front and not give a shit about what armor you have. But I do love sailing it. You're pretty much, I wouldn't say impervious to planes, but you're a big threat to enemy aircraft carriers, and it's just an all-around great support ship. When it does get the sonar ability in the next patch or two, I'm not quite sure when Wargaming's going to put that out. That will replace the fighter plane if you so desire it, and you'll be able to spot DDs. I think it has like a 5-minute cooldown, and you can spot them for 30 seconds up to around 10 kilometers of range, which is pretty good if you're trying to hunt down a destroyer and you know he's close. I was playing with a super tester, and they were using it from the Russian cruisers, which also have them. And I mean, it was just fun hunting DDs with them, because it was like, yeah, that guy can't hide from us. He can try all he wants, but he can't. And we were just slaughtering destroyers left and right. Which, more on the Russian cruisers when they come out. I'll probably have a video of them. They seem to have their weaknesses and their strengths. I'm not quite sure until I play them really what their whole weaknesses are, but they don't seem to have a lot of armor, so don't worry too much about stellinium or something. But here comes the planes again, and just in time for my anti-aircraft abilities to pop up, and I'm just going to sail right on past and try to help the two carriers that seem to be running into each other shoot down aircraft. And it looks like our Taiho took a pretty big hit from that. But we're also going to get over here and try to keep these ships off our carriers, because they are a very large threat, especially if they stop trying to find the destroyer and start shooting at our carriers. And I'm trying to focus the other tier 9 over there, the Rune. Our Fletcher behind me is focusing him, and the Art Miyoko is focusing him. And we're scoring some really good hits on him. He's kind of, he's making himself a really good target for my guns. He's either been broadside or showing me a large portion of his side for the last, I don't know, couple salvos. And it's going to be the death of him, because he's not going to like the outcome of being broadside to something that has pretty good damage for a cruiser that is very underrated, if you even ask on forums or something. I think this is one of the most underrated tier 9s out of all of them, and I think a lot of it is because people like to show their broadside in it. But it looks like we got aircraft coming in again. Not quite sure what they're planning to do when they're sailing over a Baltimore. Despite me not having my anti-aircraft ability up, they're still going to take some heavy losses. And yeah, I don't know why they decided to fly those directly over me. Because it really is going to screw up their attack, because they're going to lose a lot of aircraft in the process. And there goes 4 more. Oh boy. And my spotter plane's just keeping their aircraft in range. Now we got a Hatsuharu and a York. The Hatsuharu is the bigger threat. There's also an enemy battleship coming around the other side of our base behind us that is threatening to cap or kill our CVs. So I'm going to try to pound this York into submission. Hopefully get the Hatsuharu, because I don't want them sneaking up on our carriers from this angle. So, rather than focusing the aircraft that are just kind of flying around me, I think they're just fighters. I'm going to go after these ships and put my guns to good use, since I haven't gotten a good chance to do that this game. Oh, fighters are gone. There's the destroyer. I need to take him out as soon as possible, because that way I can switch around and pound that battleship and help out the Fletcher that's going to charge him. So I really need some good hits on that destroyer, and there he popped up again. And will he show his broadside? Yep, just a little, which is enough for me. Slams him into his side, but not enough to kill him. I need a really good hit just to sink him, and he's just about out of detection range. So he shows his broadside, I take the shot. 1 hit, and he detonated. So, thank you Wargaming for, or I should say thank you RNG for proving me to be lucky today. York takes some shots at him, spinning around to try to help the Fletcher against that North Carolina. He's doing a torp run on him, and it looks like the North Carolina didn't feel like turning too much and just got devastated by the Fletcher's torpedoes. But in turning, it also saved me from eating those Hatsuharu torpedoes. So, all's well that ends well. Now I can go pester that York some more, which is exactly what we'll do. We got the HE loaded right now. He is quite a ways out, so I'm probably not going to shoot too much AP at him. I usually reserve that for around 12 kilometers and less if they're broadside to me. Sometimes longer range if I know I can pen them. But I'm going to keep moving in. He's just a tier 7 cruiser. Not the best tier 7 in my opinion. That would go to the Miyoko. And I'm just going to pound him until he's dead. The Miyoko behind him is what he's focusing right now. So I really have nothing to worry about. And there's a fire for him. And as I started that, I switched to the AP because I am getting under 12 kilometers, and he is still broadside to me. And he's not going to like the consequences of that. And there goes the York. Tunnel vision is a wonderful thing.
Our team has taken the lead.
Now if you notice, I haven't taken a single point of damage. I'm not entirely sure if that's because nobody shot at me or if I bounced a couple shots, but I mean, I have sat in the back most of the game and just shot down aircraft, so I haven't gotten a really good chance to go up and brawl. And I'm working on that torpedo squadron right there too. These poor enemy carriers. But I'm gonna move in on this New Orleans. He's trying to run and save his ship. And it is getting close to the end of the battle. There's just him and 2 carriers left. The carriers aren't going to touch me. And he is probably the only real threat, though he's a tier below me. It's still another American cruiser. If we show our broadsides, we're still going to wreck each other. I have AP loaded. He's broadside to me. So I'm going to start taking shots at him before he can turn out. And there's a pretty decent hit on him. He's just a tier 8, so he can't heal it. whereas I still have 3 heals and full health, which is about, what, 10,000 more health than him? Maybe a bit less. And he just scored the first hit on me the whole game. I might be able to arc those over the island. Yeah. Got it over the island, scored about 3,000 damage on him, so not too bad. Our carriers are bombing him too, so it's not looking too good for this poor New Orleans. And he's trying to run straight back to his base. And I'm trying to intercept him. I want the damage. I want to supplement my score other than just aircraft because they don't reward too much. Where's he gonna go? Carriers just dumped a bunch of torps on him, so he turned in to dodge them, exposed his broadside to me, which gave another 3,000 damage. Alright. Yeah, not the best accuracy on my part sometimes. This ship's very accurate. I don't even run the main battery accuracy mod on it. Keep hitting him in the rear. He doesn't have a lot of rear armor, so it's okay to throw a few shots at AP, but I do switch to HE just because he's facing way away from me and I can get better results this way. Especially if I set him on fire like that. Ah, RNG, you love me so well sometimes. And figures, as soon as he shows his broadside, I don't have AP loaded. Ah well. And it looks like he extinguished the fires. And the carriers are spotted way out there. Shows his broadside. I'll throw some AP. No, it wasn't AP. I thought I switched to AP there, sorry. Throw some HE back, set him on fire. He won't be repairing that one either. So I'm going to keep moving up on him. Not quite sure if I can arc shots over this island, but I should be around it pretty soon. And carriers are still trying to bomb him. Throw some more shots downrange. And small hit on him. He's still burning, which is a good thing. Bounce most of his shots right there. Send some return fire his way from all my main batteries, which I'll miss. I have great aim and the New Orleans is very maneuverable. So it doesn't work out in my favor there. But still, if he wants to show his broadside some more, I'll gladly throw shots at him. And that'll do enough damage. The carrier missed right there, that my last battery will be able to finish him off. Or not. I'm always lucky on that last person. And there we go. So now all we have is carriers left to kill. I have 34,000 health at the end of this battle. And I'm back to shooting down aircraft. And the New Orleans is trying to figure out why I have full health near the end of the battle. And it's mainly because I sat back, I defended the carriers for a while, and then when I pushed up to attack ships, there was already a front line that the enemy ships were attacking rather than shooting at me. So, kinda worked out in my favor. I usually prefer to be on that front line, but sometimes being the supportive player in the back is nice too. And I really wish they would increase rewards for that because it would encourage CVs to go full anti-aircraft and support their team. And it would also encourage anti-aircraft cruisers like the American cruisers to sit back and defend their friendly ships, other than just saying, yeah, it'll ensure victory if you defend them. And the game's gonna time out before I can get to the enemy carriers. I'll take that torpedo, but it won't matter. The game is over. And I'd say that was pretty good. So yeah, I really wish that Wargaming would increase the rewards for shooting down so many aircraft, just because it would encourage people to play the more supportive roles rather than just going off and dying immediately, because you would actually get more use out of these American cruisers, and you would see more people actually using them to as their intended purpose rather than going forward, going broadside, and getting one shot. I'm looking at you, Pensacola drivers. But rolling into the first scoreboard, I had 97 hits on enemy warships. I shot down 46 planes, which is just about half of the shots I hit on other ships. I killed 3 ships, which is pretty good for sitting in the back the whole game. And I set 5 fires, which I consider to be pretty decent since I don't have the demolition expert skill, and American cruisers don't have a high fire chance in the beginning. So, pretty good game for me, I would say. But what I was really surprised by was that I ended up on top of my team. I figured that one of the ships on the front lines would end up there because I never went into a cap. I never was really doing damage to other ships the whole game. I mainly just sat back and shot down aircraft with the aircraft carriers. And I ended up with almost 1,000 more base experience than the carrier that finished just below me. So not entirely sure what was going on out there. I think a lot of them got rushed really quickly and sank, but wasn't paying attention, so can't really say too much there. I was just really surprised that I finished on top, and credit where credit's due, the enemy New Orleans did pretty well for themselves too. And rolling into the last scoreboard shows the actual damage that I did. I had 14,000, almost 15,000 in AP shell damage, almost 50,000 in HE shell damage, and almost 11,000 in fire set, which, once again, I'd call that pretty damn good, but it's also kinda average for me. I usually aim for about 50,000 damage, and I figured one of the battleships would be doing about 100,000. So I'm not entirely sure why I finished top of the team, but if you look below all the ships that I hit, you can see I shot down 20 dive bombers, 17 torpedo bombers, and 9 fighters, which I'd say pretty decent result. I protected the carriers and showed how powerful the anti-aircraft on these little ships are. But if you haven't seen the New Orleans video, I also showed how powerful their guns can be if nobody's focusing them, and a little bit of how powerful their front armor is. I will be putting the link to that video in the description in case anybody hasn't watched it. But hope to see you on the seas, and I hope you all have a great day.